Hi, and welcome to the Grain of Thought podcast. I am Ben here with my good pal Groovie. Groovie, say hi.
Hi, hello.
That's my man. All right, and I'm known as Ben. People call me Panda. My friends call me Panda. Yeah, I'm just your typical e-boy up in here. And Groovie, why don't we start you off? How about you give us a little intro of yours?
Sure. So yeah, I am Groovie, or commonly known as Groovie. That has evolved from Groovie Baby, as in the Austin Powers '70s radical kind of nickname, shortened to Groovie. My name is actually Elijah, but here on forward, just call me Groovie because it's just easy to remember, easy to say. Two syllables. I figure the two syllables are the easiest to go with. Most memorable.
Yeah.
But I digress. Groovy, am I? And about you, Mister Ben. What's going on?
Oh yeah, I was gonna go around and go around the class and talk about something about ourselves. But yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I graduated from SFSU, that's San Francisco State University. I before the pandemic, I would go to anime cons and cosplay. I did that a lot, but yeah, now that the pandemic hit, I all cons are closed and my work consists of usually office jobs, the regular wage cage jobs, as people would say. And yeah, as I said, I am a gamer boy. I play all the fun games, fun computer games. I do my main station is my PC, and I'm very passionate about PC games. What about you, Groovy? Let's hear some of your passions and hobbies.
Yeah. So yeah, PC games are for one superior. I used to be
Thank you. Yes.
purely console player for the longest time. Then quarantine hit. Then I'm at my desk for everything, school, work, everything. And I just so happen to start playing more PC games, computer games, and I've got to say the experience is better. It's just better. But
Right on.
my background, a little bit about me is like I said, my name is Elijah, but I go by Groovy. I started streaming a little bit before quarantine, probably a year or so. I got more serious during quarantine. Um,
Right.
what more about me? I have an associate's degree in mathematics and science, and I am currently uh, a junior. I'm going to be a senior in a few months. So I graduate in about a year from UC Irvine down here in Southern California. And I will be graduating with my B8 in social ecology. So that's really encompassing environmental issues, social issues, and yeah. So it's a very widespread degree, but it's something that I felt would be the most beneficial, least self-serving because I don't need to bloat my ego or anything like that. I actually want to create.
Definitely.
I actually want to be a change in the world. Not saying that other people are not, because you can definitely have influence working at the, what do they call them, GAFA
Gaffa.
companies, Google, Alphabet, Facebook, and Amazon, I believe.
Ah,
The
well,
top tech companies. You can definitely make a change there, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't feel like that's my calling. I feel like I'm more suited towards humanitarian work. This pandemic really kind of shows us a lot of the imbalances in society. The huge wealth gap, the amount of poverty throughout the world, and like the people that were already hurting are now like desperately hurting because of how COVID has affected everything. So
yeah.
yeah, life changes, and you decide, hey, I want to do something else that I was didn't think I would do before, but now I'm all gung ho about it. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Maybe that was a little
Yeah,
bit
that's
too much for an introduction. I
oh,
don't.
I mean, it's a podcast. We're all for sharing here, and you give me a very humble view of yourself, and I like that. But let's go over why. Why a podcast? Why did we decide to start a podcast out of millions of others who started a podcast? Like, give us some of the reasons or why we're doing this.
Well, it's funny you asked me that, Ben, because this was your idea actually.
Oh, really? Was it my idea? Oh, thank you for reminding me and everybody.
Well, I mean, it was your idea, and I was like, "That's a great idea." I'm not downplaying your idea. You just were the person to bring it up, so I'm giving you the
Definitely.
full credit here and there. I'm not gonna cut you short, Mister Ben.
Well, now you say it like that, everybody's gonna think that I like beforehand asked you to mention that it's my idea, and I didn't do that.
No,
But
no, no. You definitely.
let's, yeah,
No, you didn't mention that it was. You didn't tell me to name
right,
drop you.
right, right. Yes, just letting everybody know. I'm also a very humble kind of man, so don't let this fool you into thinking that I'm some sort of narcissist. I am a narcissist, but we'll talk about that some other time.
I'm gonna completely ignore the fact that you just now said that I am a narcissist, but let's completely ignore that. I think that's brilliant.
Thank you, thank you.
But why start a podcast? I mean,
Yes.
when there's, I'm sure dozens of not dozens, hundreds and thousands of podcasts out there. People trying to get their ideas out there. I mean, it's like the same question as asking why make a Twitter account when
Oh,
there's like 2 billion, 3 billion people in the world that are on Twitter. Putting all their thoughts and ideas out there. Like, why even like get into the mix of it all? Like, what do you have to offer? And I'd say that like podcasting is just therapeutic. Like we talk all the time, right? So like
right.
my idea about it is, since we're talking, I mean, I'm sure talking is therapeutic and so is listening. So there may be somebody out there that wants to listen to what we have to say, and you can just vibe and chill out to some real guys talking about the day to day, like what is our thoughts on this, or what are our thoughts on that. So I think it it's just we have the tools to do it, so why not? You know, I mean,
Yes, yes.
why would you want to start a podcast? Would be my question to you.
Me, well, I feel like we talk a lot, and I feel like, yeah, we kind of talk about things are relatable, not just to us, but to, maybe others, our friends, our families, and even some people we may not know about. And yeah, why not get this out there? And I do agree, it is therapeutic, and I didn't see it from that angle before. With my background in psychology, yes, talking is very therapeutic. I don't think a lot of people know, but talking is very powerful. It doesn't matter if you had a bad day, had a good day, if you just talk to someone you like or you want to talk to, that it's a very good mood uh, booster. It's good to know that somebody knows about your struggles, knows about your day, and knows that you exist. They know your story, and I feel like, yeah, that really helps get you through the day to day.
Right. And that's actually really interesting, Ben. Because I know that you went to SF State and that you studied psychology, but I've never once in my life taken a psychology class. I think the only well,
Yes.
actually, I take that back. I've taken a psychology of sexuality and human anatomy, and I don't think that really counts. I mean, there's like, I mean, you could say psychology of anything, but like pure psychology, like what is that? Like, why did you study psychology? What was it about? How was your journey? Did you like your experience? I mean, let's open up this bag of worms,
Well,
man. Let's let's
yes,
let's go
yes.
into it.
Let's get into that. Well, to be honest, we've all, well, not everybody, but when I was in high school, they had us choose a major when we were trying to sign up for colleges. And, as high schoolers, we didn't know what we're getting into. All we knew was we were supposed to choose one subject that we would major, like we
Huh.
would stick along with for, a few years ahead of our lives. Now, eh, now imagine you're a high schooler, you're a senior, you're about to graduate, or maybe in your junior year of college, and a counselor comes to you and says you need to sign up for college and you need to pick the subject that you will be stuck with for the next 4, 5, 6 years. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even think about what I was passionate about. I was a senior in high school. I know some high schoolers will have some sort of idea what they want to do, but me, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Even back in high school, all I did was just sit at home, play Halo, browse the internet. I was stuck to my computer.
Yes.
Then I thought psychology, the study of the human mind, how the human mind functions, and sometimes the biology of the human brain, what makes us tick, what moves us, what grinds our gears, what moves our gears inside our head. Now that's fascinating at the time now. And honestly, that was the only thing I knew about. Like, I think the other majors were like biology or computer science or like
All the big brain hard.
the brick brain. The other sciencey terms I did not remember. Psychology was the only subject on that form that spoke to me, that appealed to me. Now, looking back, yeah, that's how I got into psychology. I didn't regret choosing psychology as a major, but if I knew that the technology industry was gonna boom like this, Apple, Google, Facebook, I definitely would have picked a major in maybe computer sciences.
Really?
Uh, but there's no way I can turn back the clock, and I have come to terms. I stand by my decision of choosing psychology, because if I didn't choose it, if I were to turn back time now, I wouldn't be the person I am right now. And I think I'm at a good place right now. I'm happy with my life right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's my story of my whole journey with psychology. And does it answer your question about psychology, or do you want me to go in depth about psychology, what it's about?
I mean, like when you kind of explained it's like the study of how people think and whatnot, and I mean, I could kind of consider that like I think it's natural for people to want to understand how people want to think. I think isn't
Right.
isn't psychology like the top major at most universities throughout the United States? I think. I may
Oh,
be
is it?
wrong. I may be wrong, but at some point, I know that a lot of people were psychology majors, and it's I think psychology teaches you a lot of soft skills, from my understanding
Yes.
of what
Yes.
like it basically tells you like how to read body language, how to understand people's the tonality and the way that they speak.
Exactly. Exactly.
So really, I mean, you could work anywhere you want.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, it's that. Yeah, you mentioned that, and yeah, my bachelor's of psychology is very versatile. I can put it on my resume, and I can use it to apply to any job. Yes, any job. And where I did mainly do office jobs, and they said, "Oh, psychology, that's very, very interesting." It's also a talking point for my bosses and my interviewers. And yeah, some people think that psychology, oh, you learn psychology, you read my mind, and that's very, yeah, that's generic. But no lie, when I back in high school, when I looked at it and I chose psychology, I was like, oh yeah, I can learn to read people's minds. And now that I have a more better
some
grasp of it,
some
yeah, it's
Magneto type X-Men type.
yeah,
That's a.
yeah.
Have you heard about Neuralink?
Neuralink, isn't that sounds like something Elon Musk would make it?
Haha, of course. It's from Daddy Musk, obviously, and
Yes, Daddy Musk.
it's basically an implant in the brain. I wish I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, Neuralink is basically like something. It's basically like having your smartphone built into
Right?
your mind. So like you know how we're like artificially smart because we have our smartphone, we can like, but without our smartphone, we're nothing. This is basically like saying take that device away and put it in your head. So, like, basically, the wiki says Neuralink Corporation is a neurotechnology company founded by Elon Musk and others developing implantable brain machine interfaces. So, they're going to be putting a computer in your skull to interface with your brain.
Oh,
Basically, like, people were talking about the COVID vaccine, like messy,
right.
like something about 5G or something. What was that about? What was I remember.
Uh, oh, I guess at the start of the pandemic, COVID, some people were blaming it all on like 5G. Oh, who's it? Bill Gates. He is controlling us with 5G or making us sick with 5G. And some people even destroy 5G towers. I think several towers were destroyed. And then yeah, some people got caught, and it's just conspiracy theorists who just want to be right, calling it 5G. Oh, it's making us sick. It's like
That's just
the anti-vax
ridiculous.
people, and yeah,
That's just ridiculous. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. But like this Neuralink thing is like it's a real company. Like it says that there's about 100 employees at this company based in San Francisco,
right.
and I've seen Elon Musk actually talk about it, and he talks about it in a serious manner. Like they're dead set on putting a computer in your head. I
That's very
mean,
cyberpunkish, just to have a computer inside your head.
and you know, it actually does sound like that's where the future would head. I don't know, man. Everything. Whenever you hear something like whenever you hear something about like some new kind of technology, I remember there was Google Glass where you can basically have the technology on your glasses, like a prescription
Right.
glass, and you can, just have directions and stuff on your, augmented reality and stuff like that. And I remember when VR was like a really big thing, like when it was first getting started, people were like, "This is out of the world."
Oh
I was
yeah,
I
we
was actually
are.
just talking with my younger brother. We went to go get food for dinner. We went to go get dinner, and he was like, "Dude, do you remember when we used to have memory cards in our phones? We used to have callback tones on our phones. Like when you're calling somebody, it would play a song. And
Yeah, yeah.
even not so far back. You remember when we used to actually have ringtone when we used to set our ringtones? People used to
Yeah,
buy
on our flip
ringtones.
phones. Yeah,
I don't have a ringtone. Like I have the default ringtone. I have my phone on vibrate or I just have it off because
same.
it goes off too much. And that's saying a lot because I'm not even on social media right now. So for me to not have my phone on like any kind of alert, that's just we are in information overload. We're like this generation of people has never been overloaded with so much information.
That's right.
Nobody else has, no other generation before us has had this amount of information thrown at them. Like it's too much to digest. So I like when I hear about things like Neuralink, for instance, I think, okay, are we going to be able to turn it off?
Ah, yes. With that kind of technology does come with its own like bag of worms or can of worms. There's always going to be some questions and problems that comes with it.
Yeah. And
But yeah,
thinking about Neuralink and thinking about how the possibility, like we're all thinking things are so far fetched until they actually happen. For instance, with Bitcoin, even a year ago it was just $5,000. I looked at when Bitcoin started; it was like $13 for a Bitcoin.
yeah, it's
Just
going pretty quick.
it's ridiculous. I don't have any faith in any other coin because I feel like maybe Ethereum because like that's the closest to Bitcoin. But any
Yeah,
other
those
coin,
those are coming quick too.
yeah, it's you missed the train on it. And like all these new coins trying to jump on the train, it's just a money grab. I don't believe in them. But as far as Neuralink, I feel like that's a very real reality that can come into fruition. So although you do have a bachelor's in psychology band, it might be good to invest in a doctorate so that you can become a brain surgeon because there's the brain surgeon career is going to be in need because
Ah,
you're gonna have to cut
yes.
into people's heads and place
I
this
need someone
chip.
to, yeah.
Yeah, so brain surgery, man. You can get into brain surgery. It's I don't know. Then you can actually read people's minds, but on a
with
different level.
Yeah, with a chip inside everybody's heads. Yeah, that technology actually kind of amazes me, but also scares me in a way. Like, I do see it happening, but right now, as we're still developing that kind of technology, when will we get the chance to try it? Because I definitely don't want to be the first person to get the prototype of that put in my head. I want to wait like 5 years after it's been created and put on the market to see where it goes, to see how well it functions, how well it does its job. Well, I am amazed that it can let us access our phones, like inside our heads even. The options, the possibilities are limitless. I want to see how safe it is first.
True. And that's that same idea, that same concept is with anything, really. There's a lot of people that jump on the bandwagon the second it comes out. People pre-order. And a lot of people in the tech industry say do never pre-order because usually the
Right?
first iteration of things is the worst iteration of
That is
things.
very true. Yes.
But like the same thing with like the coronavirus vaccine. Everybody's talking about, I don't know if I want to get that. I think I'm
You are
gonna wait.
absolutely right.
I'm gonna wait.
Absolutely.
Either wait for crowd immunity. I'm gonna wait, or I'm gonna wait for a few more months or a year before I start seeking some rushed. I'm not saying that. I'm well. It was rushed. The vaccine was rushed. They had to get something out to us. So
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's entirely justified, but it's understandable why people would not want to like trust the healthcare company because of what they've done to people in the past.
Right, right. Yeah, it's very interesting how we all wanted, I mean, the world wanted a vaccine quick, like in a snap of the finger. But once it's here,
Yeah.
don't nobody wants to be the guinea pig and see. Let's get it and see how it turns out. Of course, and I guess that's normal, but it's still very interesting.
Yeah, man. Like, why is that? Like, we put all the pressure on these researchers and pharmaceutical companies and the government to say, "Hey, hurry up and get that vaccine." We're going nuts and stuff like that. And then once it's here, they're like, "Well, I don't know. Let's wait it out." I mean, you guys got this out to us a little too quick.
Well, I actually have some type of idea for that, a psychological idea. It is the fear of the unknown. People are afraid of and will always ostracize something they don't fully understand, you know? Like 5G is a good example. Vaccines. Some people say vaccines cause autism. And yeah, it just sometimes they just see what they want to see or don't know what it is. So it causes them to just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm too young to know about that vaccine causes autism. I mean, I've obviously heard of it. I haven't done my own like looking into it or anything like that. But I hear it a lot that vaccines cause autism. But then at the same time, I hear that that's been disproven, and I'm just like standing over here like, well, I'm gonna be on the safe side, you know. Um,
Definitely, definitely. And yes, I'm the same. I would definitely want to be on a safe side. I don't want any problems for my body, my health. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I know people like I remember at first when this whole pandemic had started and everybody was like, "Do you even know anybody that's got the coronavirus?" I'm hearing that it's like a hoax. It's not real. And
That's some of the silly stuff that the anti-COVID people are throwing out there, trying to look special by saying, "Oh, it's not real, guys. The government's just controlling you. It's communism." It's communism's the favorite word for the conspiracy theorists to throw around.
right, and I think the issue with what is the word that like in American, the American society,
Like
uh,
are you talking about like the patriotic or the patriotism kind of that little ordeal that Americans go through?
right, and a lot of people see it as like binary. So basically, you're either a patriot or you're a commie, and it's like
Yes,
there's a spectrum to it. It's not the opposite of
exactly.
communism is patriotism. There are some aspects that work. I mean, that's why there's no perfect society, and that's why in say China, for instance, China has been experiencing a decrease in the rate of poverty over the past few years, while in America it's been growing consistently decade over decade, which is,
Right.
I mean, when you introduce that, the opposition is like, oh, that's because it's communist regime, so everybody obviously is going to be treated the same. Well, there should be a base level of like quality of life that is guaranteed for people.
Yes, I agree.
It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like, there's incentive to work obviously because people want certain things that take a lot of time to research and should obviously cost a certain price. But at the same time, like, people shouldn't be starving. People shouldn't be living like, there's people that are living in extreme poverty. There's like, I think about 15% of Americans, I learned this just maybe last night, I think. About
Yeah.
15%, as of recent, more or less, live under the poverty line. And
Right.
that's collectively between people living in poverty and extreme poverty. So I just like, there's a lot of improvement we can do as a society.
I agree. Yeah, we just I feel like we're focusing more on issues that don't really matter as much because yeah, like poverty, starvation, homelessness, there are more pressing problems, but we have people out here denying COVID and saying communism, doing all those hoax when yeah, they're just garnering their attention away from real problems and facts. And I think we should really focus our resources and unify together to solve this COVID and our problems plaguing our country.
Right. And COVID is really just like it's like the bottleneck, and a lot of things right now. It's putting a lot of things on hold, it's getting in the way. It's obstructing how people are able to survive. People can't really go out and do the same things that they did before to make money. In a lot of
Right.
instances, I just I was reading. Where's this book? I was reading this book right here. It's called "Deaths and Despair and the Future of Capitalism Today." On my way to LA to drop my sister off, but I was reading this book, and thus the data in here was as recent as of 2019 because 2020 wasn't
Oh,
wasn't released, but it said here. I don't have a light, so I can't really pull it out, but uh,
do you keep your room dark? You don't have a light on?
well, no, because then I've got these floodlights that are in my room, and I've got this neon PlayStation light, but that's not really like bright enough, so I can either have it too bright or kind of dark. Um,
Dang. Yeah, I can't relate. My room just has one light and then one lamp right behind my three monitors.
oh dang. Well, like a hack that I do sometime is I have two monitors. I'm not as on the edge as you are, but I've got two monitors, and what I do is I open like a Google Chrome tab, and just
Yeah.
open like a search window because it's white, and then
Yeah.
it gets reasonably bright in here.
Wait,
Um,
so your hack to have more light in a room, it's not use another lamp or another light. You use the light from your monitor blasting from a tab from Google Chrome.
exactly. That's a life hack,
Now,
man.
like, well, Groovy, let me advise you to get another lamp or something because I don't know because the reason I have a lamp behind my computer screens is that before I got the lamp, the space behind my monitors were dark, and that might have made my eyes tired more easily. That's why I got a lamp. My friends suggested me, Ben, just get a lamp, and your eyes might feel better. And yeah, I think it worked. And yeah, even though I have three monitors in front of me, I always only keep two of them on because having three just dries out and tires out my eyes.
Hmm. Oh wow. I was actually maybe I'll consider going upstairs because I know that there's a ring light up there, and I can put it behind my
Right.
monitor, and I think that would actually be perfect for when I stream, because when I stream, the lighting is just like not so hot. It's not so great. Either it's like too dark in my room, or it's like I sometimes I stream for like hours on end, like so.
Right.
I don't like to have my all my room lights on at like for hours, like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. Um, and then like if I just want to have like a chill stream, I won't have the lights on, but then you can hardly see me unless I'm blasting the white light from one of my monitors.
Yeah. Wait, why don't you want to have your lights on? Isn't that normal to have your lights on at night for all hours of the night? Because, you want to see.
But I have a lot of lights. I have one, two. Well, it's only four lights really, but they're like floodlights, so they're in the ceiling, and they're just so bright. It's like
Are
they
they?
they are very bright.
You can't remove maybe half of them, just take them out
You know what?
or the
That is actually not a bad idea. I have never thought about taking one of like a few like maybe if I take half the lights out, it'll give it like a different kind of ambiance. That might
right.
be pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to do that after this.
I'm just a big trigger because I wear glasses and my eyes did does get tired easily. So lighting is it's yeah pretty it's a pet peeve of mine.
Hmm.
But yeah, talking about your setup, I only have one light. It's at the center of the ceiling, so it's not a problem for me.
Hmm.
But yeah, whenever you stream, I do see that your room is dark, and I always wonder, is that intentional, or do you like being in that ambiance of, oh, I'm half covered in the dark?
No, it's just like, do I want to compete with like sometimes it being way too dark or always being way too bright? And I always go with the you know the first option. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and experiment with the light thing. I think that I have no idea why I never thought about that, but yeah, I'm gonna do that after this. But
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, see how it works out for you.
yeah, I got a joke for you.
Yes.
So why should you invite arthritis to a party?
Why?
Because they really know how to shut the joint down.
Wait, wait a minute. What was the joke? Why shouldn't you invite, or why should you invite?
Why should you invite
Why
arthritis to a party?
should I invite? Oh, okay.
No, it's my aunt just texted that and I was like, wow, that's so cheesy, but like that's my kind of humor.
Uh-huh. No, no, I'm a big fan of humor. You can't always have them bangers. Like if you want try to have a banger every time you tell a joke, then you're always pressured to.
True. I'm not a
I
comedian.
don't know. Yeah, it's always the simple things that I admire. So oh yeah, weren't you looking up something in your book?
I was talking about the disparities basically that COVID is showing basically
Right.
that like the poor people are going to become poorer, the rich people are going to become richer
Yeah,
because of
and
COVID.
that's well, not just COVID. Even before COVID hit, that's just always been the case, right?
True, true, but like now it's even more because it's like
Even more.
the people. Okay, so approximate like based off the statistics in this book from 2019. I'm sure there's a source because it cites it has citations and everything.
Right, right. Can't forget the citations. Yes.
Of course, in the MLA format, most definitely.
Oh,
Actually, this is
you're.
this
I'm
is
getting PTSD flashbacks from school.
this is APA because it's more like a psychological text.
Oh yes,
This
yes.
this is from my criminology class or maybe poverty or I don't know. I'm still figuring out which class is which because it's the first week of the quarter and I don't know what's going on. I don't know when anything's
Right.
due. I don't know anything. I'm just like kind of like I'm just winging
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's normal for your first week of class. Yes.
And it's really hard because I was on the semester system at first, which is like
Yeah.
15, 16 weeks. and things don't really get serious until maybe like the second week or maybe the third week. This in the UC system, except for I think one of the UC schools, I can't think about it, but I think it's the grad school, UC. I think there's a UC San Francisco, or Sacramento. I don't know. It's up there in the
Yeah,
north, but it's a
it's one
graduate
of those.
level school, and but all the UC system, they're on the quarter system. So I switched from the semester system to the quarter system, and basically the first week is not a like a BS week. It is like a hit the ground running kind of week, and you can
Oh,
get behind very quick. So I'm running around with like a chicken with my head cut off, but I'm not I'm not stressed yet. I'm not stressed enough. So
right.
my stress level is maybe at a 43%. When I get to about 67 or 75, then it's like I have to start really getting on my stuff. But basically 75% of people in the workforce that had like about like 75% of the workforce that don't have college degrees are not working like remote positions. They're usually working like in customer facing, or they have to go into an office or anything like that. A majority of people with college degrees are more likely, they make up a much larger majority of people to do remote work. So basically these people, like people that have higher educations, typically get paid more for one, have
Of course.
better living conditions, and the
Right.
a lot of people that, there's a vast majority of people that don't have college degrees, and COVID is going to exacerbate that. Basically, since COVID is a thing now, and you already have to have a certain amount of pieces in place to even like go to school, to get a job that you're qualified for, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to become poorer and with less education, and savings and whatnot to rely on. So
Right.
um
Yeah, and that's just the sad truth. It's just uh, many people in the U.S. are not, college educated. I just wish that uh, education was more widely available to more people.
yeah, and it's another one of those social concerns, because it's for a lot of people the means to go to school aren't exactly straightforward,
They are
the
not.
the cost is usually it's very expensive, and
Mhm.
everybody always brings up the argument of, look, oh, in all these Nordic countries they have these socialist systems that seem to work, and I've I've seen podcasts, I've seen where the CEO of Whole Foods, right?
Right.
Obviously he's like a multi-millionaire, probably a billionaire, and he's like, socialism doesn't work at all. Like all those countries that people like cite as being the key to having socialism work have failed over and over and over and over again and still don't work.
Oh,
And I mean, there's so much that like I want to know about this. Like, I want to research my own and see what the actual data has to say, rather than somebody who is a multi-billionaire saying that it doesn't
right.
work. You know?
Somebody that's biased or definitely has their own agenda that's has something to say about this topic that might heavily affect him. Yeah, I want to hear somebody else talk about it. I want to do our own research, do my own little through my eyes. I want to see what's really going on.
Yeah. And I'm just like throwing all this stuff out here, man. I'm just talking about stuff, but um, I see when I was on Twitter maybe a month ago, because I take really long breaks when it's like a month on, a month off. That's how I'm balancing social media nowadays, and it seems to be like really good, because like
Yeah.
or really I was really on it, only back on it for a week, and that was my spring break, and then I got back off because it was basically sharing memes with um, people that were also emotionally drained from the quarter, because it's very like 10 weeks is a lot to like is a very short amount of time to get through all the stuff that we have to get through. It's and
Right, and as you know, we do live in a society that's very unforgiving. We have to keep pushing, and there's rarely any time for breaks or to slow down and gather your bearings.
right. And I'm in a since university is Zoom now. We're all using Zoom for everything,
Yes.
work, school, whatever. I'm not really meeting people in person like I would if I were on campus, but I'm still meeting
Right.
people because, professors and lecturers are deciding to do group projects. Although, I mean, I think we would have still been doing them like regardless, but we're still doing group projects, but it's all through Zoom, it's all through Discord, it's all through group messaging, and
Right.
I have Discords for all the classes I've taken so far at UCI, and the the general consensus for like I'm seeing in every one of my group chats, at least one person is like losing their mind.
Oh,
Like it's absolutely like people are like losing it because it's tough. It's very tough. Like to wake up. Like really, you could not leave your house for weeks on end,
right.
and that has a toll on your mental. Like that
Definitely.
really
Some people take it harder than others. Yeah.
it. And I was already accustomed to working remote. I was already accustomed
Oh yeah.
yeah. I was before this, at the company that I worked for, the technology company, a year before COVID really hit, I was already fully remote because I was working the night shift. It's the safety concern. I didn't really have to go into an office. We had the resources in place for me to be able to actually work remote. So I said that years ago before I even came into this company, I was like the goal in mind was that I want to continue going to school. The only way I'm going to be able to go full time into school is if I were to get a job where I was able to be remote. And
Right.
so I went into a job with the uh, envisioning a job that I could work remote. And after about 3.5 years of being working at the job, I was offered to work remote. I took it, and I've been remote ever since.
Nice. So this is nothing new for you. It's just business as usual, huh?
Well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, also I did, I started my tax firm um, about like right before COVID really hit, like December ish of 2019. I was like gearing up for the tax season. Then I was
Right.
going to the office every day as of January 1. I was going in every day, like so. I would work nights, sleep for maybe an hour or two, and then go straight into the tax office and be there until
That now
6
that's a
p.m.
very tough schedule to keep up.
And it's very insensitive for me to say this, but it's the truth because COVID essentially saved my life because I was running on like 3 hours of sleep every day, if that,
Right. Right.
between these two companies, and it's a lot. Like you feel like your heart's gonna burst out of your chest sometimes. Like some days, it's very unhealthy.
It's
Um,
very unhealthy. Yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about because when I went to high school and I went to college, some nights I just wouldn't sleep. I would just go to class like with no sleep.
yeah, but that's our culture. That is the
Right.
modern day culture. That's what we've grown accustomed to, and that's what it takes to even scratch the surface of being able to support yourself. Because it's
Right.
especially up in NorCal, like where you're at,
Right.
it's so exorbitantly expensive. It's everything is just overpriced. That's plain put. It's just overpriced. It doesn't. It's
Just
things are not as worth what they are up there. People just tax it because that's where you know people with high incomes live. And comparatively, I mean, I am remote, but if I were on campus at UCI, Irvine, Orange County is one of the most expensive places with some of the highest earners in the country as well. So
definitely.
it's just California in general is super expensive, and that kind of brings me to like this other topic of all these companies and people leaving California.
Yeah, I yeah, I hear the uproar about Elon Musk and the other corporations. They're moving to Texas.
Yeah, yeah. Texas is essentially like the American dream right now because it's like they are, there's East Coast, West Coast, and then there's Texas. Texas is
Yes, the
its
one in the
own
middle.
thing. They literally have their own power grid, which is why they failed and everybody was
Which is
like,
why it
haha.
failed.
But uh they no income taxes out there. You can get a lot of land. I mean, you will pay in property taxes, obviously, but as far as income, if you're being paid in Texas, you're not paying state taxes on that. You're just paying the IRS, the tax man, which
Yeah.
is great incentive for companies, especially companies where we have a new regime in office, Mister who's our president, Mister Joe and Kamala.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's different. It's a new sheriff in town. You know,
It's no longer the orange man. It is Daddy Biden.
Daddy Biden. Yes, and I mean, I'm not gonna get into politics because I don't know enough about politics,
No,
and I
yeah.
just get so mad when people start talking about politics because I'm like, how do you know about politics? And I'm like,
Yeah, we might save that for a later like podcast, but yeah, this we'll pocket that. But yeah, going back to the topic of COVID, I know you mentioned that COVID really saved you. You're now sleeping more, correct?
yeah, because like, well, everything's at home now, so it's now playing a different toll on me. So before it was like
Right.
a physical and a physically and mentally it was draining, right? And
Yes,
now
yes.
it's not so physically and mentally draining. It's more
Yeah,
so
great.
mentally draining, and it is sort of physically draining as well because now I don't really go to the gym ever anymore. Um,
I'm on the same boat.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm getting the COVID-15 or the COVID. Well, actually, I don't really gain weight. I just kind of lose muscle mass, and then like
Right.
it converts. But so like I'm always at a solid 195. Um,
Nice.
but I don't ever really fluctuate that much. But I feel like not as fit anymore, especially since like I'm not moving it as much.
Yeah,
I
staying
love
indoors.
running, so like I can't run. I've got a bike, but I'm in a new neighborhood, so I'm like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I'm rough around the edges. I don't really want to like to shape myself up in a way to where like I have to present. I don't want to be in front of anybody in the first place. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think
definitely no.
I don't think my neighbors will appreciate me out in my pajamas riding my bike.
I mean, they might be in the same boat, you know. It's there's a pandemic going on. There's like, oh, Groovy's, in his pajamas. That they might be in the same boat. They might be out there just watering their plants or walking their dog in their pajamas. I don't think you'll be alone in that aspect.
you know that is a good point. I'm just I am I've like I don't want to take anything from you, but I feel like I've been a psychologist since the 5th grade.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, you made some really good points that I didn't even like see. Like you made some good perspectives that I didn't see, and yeah, I think you may have a future in psychology in you.
You think so?
Yeah, I very much think so.
Huh.
But yeah, my question was, my burning question was, do you prefer the old school system where you would go in a class and see people face to face? And I'm just basically talking about pre-COVID, or do you prefer the current system of, yeah, we'll just do it by Zoom. Let's go to meetings by Zoom. Let's do remote work. And yeah, I think from what you've been telling me, I think you're leaning towards you prefer the current system. Yeah.
Uh, I mean, there's good and there's bad about it
Oh,
because
definitely.
I I sometimes I don't want to be like presentable like at all. I just want to be in my pajamas. I just want to like not have my camera on, just be at home, just relaxing.
Re- yes, very relatable.
But other times, like I kind of want to go out and like, you know, I'm getting up there in age, man. I need to start start
Yeah,
suiting potential partners.
definitely.
So I mean, how am I gonna like? I can meet people through Zoom. I mean, but it just doesn't feel, it doesn't really feel like the same.
Oh yeah.
How am I gonna tell my
Oh,
my grandkids? Yeah, I met your grandmother in a Zoom meeting, and they'd be like, "Oh, Zoom? Wow, you guys were
in a
using Zoom
pandemic,
in a
no
pan
less.
in a panoramic,
Panoramic.
in a pandemonium." That's my favorite part about the pandemic is calling it other things. Like this start with
Yeah.
that's gonna be my new favorite pastime. Is yeah, we were in a pepperoni pizza.
Well, it's just good to make light of the dark situation we're in. Yes.
Yes, you like that's the only way to approach it. You gotta laugh about this kind of stuff. That's the only way to do it. Otherwise, my sanity is like is
You gotta stay sane somehow, right?
precisely precisely.
But yeah, I definitely I don't want to say the pandemic is a good thing, but I very much enjoy staying in home at home inside. And if well I right now I'm done with my bachelor's degree, but I kind of wish we had this little setup when I was still going to school. Just make everything remote, just go on Zoom calls. And I don't know, I just have a very lazy way of doing it. I would very much enjoy not waking up, getting ready, hastily wolfing down my breakfast, or sometimes I wouldn't even eat. I didn't move so quickly. Then waiting for the bus, like commute to school, make sure I don't run into any like blockages of on the bus or and get the class on time. No, I don't have to worry about that. I just wake up like maybe 10 minutes before class starts and just hop right on my computer chair and just be on there.
You know what? That is now that you mention it, it actually, you're making me remember about the times when I'm just dead tired because I work all night, and then I have
Right.
like, especially for Monday. So Monday, going into Monday, I get off at 6 in the morning, right? Then I have I have one class that's at 9:30 in the morning, so 3.5 hours after I'm
That's
off.
too early. Come on.
No, no, like I'm telling you, because if I have it during the day, like I don't like having classes past noon.
You don't?
I do not like
Wow.
no. I like to be done with class by like 11, maybe 12. Like
I'm usually still half asleep if I go to class that early.
no, see, and this is what I usually do. Back when COVID was a thing and I was actually going to school. And mind you, I was a full-time student before COVID happened, but like I would take maybe two classes on campus where I would only have to go to class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then I would
Right.
then I would take the other two online. And they would be like not exactly like how they are now with the Zoom and everything, but they would still be like recorded lectures, discussions, essays that you just have to turn in by certain dates and
Right.
interacting via discussion posts. So, I mean, it wasn't completely different. I mean, we were still using Canvas is what we use.
Right.
I think when you were back in school, you guys were using Blackboard maybe.
Blackboard. Are you talking about the programs we use to do our online projects and assignments, or
Y-
what are you talking about?
yeah, like Blackboard was the Canvas before Canvas was Canvas.
Oh, I don't even think we use any programs. We just went online on the school website and we just had a link on our browser just to, submit our stuff through a browser, through a website.
Oh, well, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean it's different for all kinds of different classes. Like some do a
right,
mixture of like if it's a math class, they use like Cengage or they use Pearson or like my math lab or Alex or they use different programs like that so that you can do the homework on and then they'll like pass out things in class for you to turn in. Um,
right,
and you'll actually do paper things in class and stuff and handouts. So I mean, it was a mix of that plus a mix of the online modules within Blackboard, and then they switched all of us over to Canvas. I've been in school like in higher education for many years now. It feels like,
right.
So like I've experienced so many different styles of learning, and I think that's really important. So like that's part of like, I mean, psychology, learning how learning how other people learn.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I think the best thing about like um higher education, even if it's like lower div classes that you have to do, that you might not be interested in initially. I think the concept, even like before that, like high school, elementary school, all that, it's teaching you how to learn. So it's not about
Definitely.
the content you learn, but it's about you learn how to learn. You learn your learning style. And
Yes.
I remember going to I was thinking maybe I want to be a doctor. And the one of the programs I was looking at was basically like you have to learn how to learn so that you can learn how to learn this doctor stuff.
Yes.
To
Yes.
get
Cool.
into like medical school at all. It's just like, have you learned how to learn? Okay, so forget everything, all the actual content you learned before. Remember like the concepts of how you learn best, and then you're just gonna just dive deep into this medical stuff. I mean, and that's pretty much how it is with everything. So that's why I'm so like broad in the way that I learn things. It's like not about the concept. And yeah, I do have a love of learning, but I am the farthest thing from a philosopher. I don't want to align myself with a philosopher because I'm like, those are like the idea of philosophy is so impractical. Like
Right.
you're just like sitting on your butt talking about I just like the theory of learning. Like I just have a love of learning. Like that's not gonna change anything.
Yes,
That's
I
so
agree.
self-serving.
I'm also very. I am for practical work. Yes.
So yeah, I've got some gripes with philosophy, but it's like a love hate relationship. I don't know.
Oh
Um,
yes. Sometimes you read some very nice and profound philosophy, and sometimes you're just like, oh, not this again. Can we please do something more practical?
Precisely. Like we're living in a physical world. Like we have to like we're trying to make things actually happen for people on the planet. You know, not about concepts and like theories about this and that. No, we're actually trying to make a difference. That's what I'm hoping for is to make a difference.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned psychology is just getting inside someone's head. And yes, that's a perfect way to describe psychology. You just try to get in someone's head and try to figure out how they think, how they operate, seeing what goes on inside their head. And sometimes to learn psychology, you have to see things from their perspective.
True. And you know,
And
I think it's so much easier to learn philosophy from like say around your age to people older. Like you can kind of understand like how they think and like the lessons that they try to teach you and stuff like that. That's their um
definitely.
but for younger people, what do you think about younger people, man? Like I can't get into their heads.
Oh,
Like it's I don't know.
well, of
Maybe
course. Of
I
course.
just
Well, it's the older we get, the more mature we are, the more things we learn, the more pieces we put together about the world. Now, the thing about the younger generation is it's always changing. I don't think we can fully understand or grasp the concepts that the younger generation comes up with because it's always changing. As days go by, the things they're into change, and for us, time moves slower for us because we have a routine that's different from the younger generation. It's just a different world that goes on that they live in versus what we live in.
right. And you know, I seen this pretty interesting statistic. It was like a bar graph, and it was like the top 10 careers that kids nowadays uh want to go into, and like number one was like YouTuber, and like basically like the top five were basically influencer careers that weren't
Yes,
careers 10 years ago. And the comments on Twitter are so interesting because like people can seem so credible because they have, you know, all these followers or anything like that. These likes and
Yes.
comments on a comment, like basically like, wow, these kids are so dumb, wanting a career like that. But then, like, the thing about social media is it kind of leads you into the idea of thinking a certain way. So like when somebody has like that credibility and they say something like that, and then it gets all these likes, like garnering all this attention, it makes you feel like, oh, that's the right
Yes,
ideology to
exactly.
have about this,
Exactly.
this thing. But when you see like another, like, or like you just take it out of context and you think for yourself for a second, and you're like, wait, nobody wants to actually work a job, that, nobody wants to become per se a, I don't know, they don't
Like
want
a like a construction worker, or they get a job that they hate. They don't really want to spend their time making money to live and live to make money. It's that kind of a little the cycle that people are scared to get into, right?
that's yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basically, kids want creative jobs. Kids want to do creative things. And
Right.
for you to dock somebody because, they want to continually strive to better their creativity or to always work in a creative mindset because you feel like it's not a meaningful career. Hold on one moment. Because you feel like it's not a meaningful career per se. Let me.
Right, right.
I'm
And
getting it.
it's just people have a very quick mindset to just jump and just put down an idea because they don't align with their biases. And I do believe people, yes, they should come at things with an open mind. And I think one thing that comes to mind is like Fortnite. When Fortnite came out, a lot of kids played it, and I don't think there's things wrong with it, but some people are just bashing on it, saying that it's a bad game. But honestly, it's just people just don't understand it. It's just something new, and without even doing any kind of research or trying it themselves, they bash on it just because it's what the younger generations flock to. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. When it first came out, a lot of kids were doing these Fortnite dances, and I couldn't help but cringe. But now that I think about it, if I was their age, I would probably be doing the same thing. If I was their age, I probably would have thought that was cool. So I just caught myself thinking, okay, I'm just being an old man here. I should just let them enjoy what they enjoy and not be the adults in my generation seeing how anime or cartoons or cosplaying and all the computer games were a waste of time and it was cringy.
Right.
Uh, yeah,
Like I'm just thinking like if you scroll on YouTube and you don't have an account, it's gonna show you like the most trendy things. Like it's gonna show
right.
you things like maybe like music videos. It'll show you like maybe like a really big gaming channel like Mr. Beast. It might show you PewDiePie or Markiplier, and even like I'm 26, and who doesn't want to be PewDiePie?
Definitely.
Like this guy he's ruling the internet.
He
He's
he he is he is the face of YouTube. Well, not the face, but he is the king of YouTube.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you aspire to do anything like that? What do you think about this guy?
Yeah, PewDiePie. It's funny that you should mention him because for the longest time, when he first got popular, uh, I saw a lot of hate on YouTube for PewDiePie, and I didn't understand it, and I think for some reason I kind of hated him too, but I feel weird about it because I don't like this guy, but I don't know who he is, or I never seen his videos, and I was wondering to myself, why do I have this kind of like just like for him, even though I know nothing about him? And then I go and watch one of his videos, and I think this was the time when first started getting popular when he played was it Outlast? He was doing the Let's Plays and he was just playing it. He has a cam on him and he was screaming at the things happening on screen. And I say to myself, oh, he's just a guy on YouTube playing games and screaming. I mean, it's not very creative, but the screaming is definitely not appealing. But I don't know, I just can't help but not like it, and I didn't understand at the time. Right now, thinking back, I think it's because he was different and he was an outlier. He was someone I didn't connect with. I didn't find appealing, and I didn't like that for some reason. And since I use YouTube a lot, it was a platform I go on regularly. How is this person the top dog on YouTube? And the content he made didn't speak to me. It wasn't my cup of tea. And for some reason that offended me. And yeah, I'm thinking about now is that maybe I think it's just, it goes back to humans just not liking things that they don't understand, or they're not biased towards. I think that's what got me. And I bring this up because now, like back in 2020 or 2021, I watch Pewdiepie. His videos aren't the same as back then. Right now his videos are more personal. They're less of him playing video games. And yeah, he's a generally nice guy. He's a very wholesome person, and he's very genuine. And yeah, I have nothing against him now, and I generally like him. I think that's very fascinating. That back then I just didn't like him because he wasn't part of my bias.
Huh.
Uh,
It's sort of
yeah,
like it's sort of like a song that you absolutely like. I've had songs where like I was like I do not like the song whatsoever. It does not resonate with me. Every time it would start to come on, I would turn it off and I would switch to something else, or I switch to another channel. If I was listening to the radio, um, which I mean nobody listens to the radio anymore, is right. Do people listen to the radio unless they have Sirius maybe because it's advertisements. That's a big
yes,
thing. I am not a fan of advertisements, but they are such a big part of the economy nowadays for some reason.
yes.
Like it's just how it is. I just do not like ads whatsoever. I'm not a fan of ads. Never been a fan of ads, and that's that. But where was I going with this? Basically, like songs. Like there was a song. It was a Drake song, and it was
Ooh,
very,
Drake.
very not like the songs he made before. It was One Dance.
One
Um,
Dance.
I need one dance. I'm not gonna sing it, but
Oh,
it had this sample in it. It was just like it just didn't resonate. I just did not like it. But they
right.
played it so much. They played it. They overplayed this song. They played it so much, ridiculous, like a ridiculous amount of time, and little by little, it gained on me. I was like, I
Like,
like this song. That's my jam now. I like it because like it was forced. It was forced into my head for me, like having to hear piece after piece, then it getting stuck in my head, and then like, oh, that's kind of catchy, and like it made me like the song because they played it so much, so frequently, and
huh.
it's just in your face. Well, technically in your ear, with music. But like if you keep hearing a song that you don't really like, eventually you're gonna like it, which is really
Well,
strange.
I think that's very that doesn't apply to all songs. Obviously, it's just some songs are you're kind of on a fence on, or some kind of on special songs. If some songs are, or some things, sometimes it won't grow on you. But this song, it sounds like it did grow on you,
Yeah,
did it not?
I think it's principle, like the principle of it,
Yes,
like
yes.
you don't want to like it because it sounds like this, and you're trying not to like it. But I think everything, not just in the physical, but everything moves towards equilibrium. So
Ooh,
even things that you really, really, really like the first time, like you overindulge in it so that it can become less. It can have less of an impact on you. So like
you you
uh
did said the word equilibrium, and a wave of profoundness just washed over me. I was like, oh my god, how did he do that?
hey, it's I mean, dude, the English language is so complex and I love it so much. It's beautiful. That's why I listen to so much rap music because like I just love the
Yeah,
double entendres and not so much the easy similes and metaphors because that's what everybody's talking about now. But like there's some very creative wordplay that people use, and it's just like it just gives me like chills like listening to it because like a lot of the time it's just a bunch of information thrown at you. So like you don't really know what they're talking about until like the fifth time you hear it, and you've got to really like tune into it. But
definitely. It's art. It's definitely great what these artists, these songwriters are creating.
exactly, and that's like I appreciate it because I was a music major for like I graduated from a performing
Oh,
arts
what?
school.
I So you majored in music and math?
Yeah, so here's more of the story. I'm gonna always I'm not gonna give you the whole thing because there's a lot of it. There's I'm 26, so
Right.
I've lived a lot of life in these 26
Yes.
years. But I went to performing arts high school. Well, it was a performing arts school from 6th to 12th grade. And before that, I went to a like it was an elementary school, but it was a music conservatory. So like they had an
Right.
emphasis on music. So I've always been attuned to music. Music has always been my thing. Like when I was a little kid, like I remember being in the car, my mom playing like Alicia Keys and playing Lauryn Hill and the Fugees and all these like dope artists that people were not really listening to until like late in high school. And I was like, dude, I was listening to that as a toddler. I remember days in the car driving up the street, listening to all these artists, Lenny Kravitz, Stevie Wonder, like, and my
Right.
mom having mixtapes. I remember using LimeWire when I was like in
Oh my God,
elementary
LimeWire.
school, in Kazaa. um,
Yeah.
so I remember using all these like softwares to get like mixtapes and stuff and breaking the computer with the viruses and it not being
Yeah,
not.
I was there. I was there. Same here.
I remember the last CD I bought actually. That was around 2014, and I bought like two or three CDs at a time. And I bought John Mayer CD, which was Born and Raised when he went like I think he was in like Nashville, Tennessee. It was very country inspired, and I hate to define music as genres because like everything we listen to is a mix of everything. Like
Yeah.
they have different um they pull
Oh, I definitely
from different
definitely know
avenues.
what. Yeah. What you mean by that? Because yeah, for sure, we categorize them by genre. So us, the people and the music industry, can label them so they're easy to find. But I do agree that it's hard to put a label to put like to categorize one piece of song or music just by how complex each song means and what it symbolizes.
Right. um I swear I was listening to you, but that's exactly that's my exact stance on that. That we categorize things because it's easy for us to understand them. And I mean,
Yes.
I'm totally for it. It's just like with music, it's just so personal for me that like I don't think of things like in terms of like if I were to say, oh, I'm gonna go out and I'm going to make a, and I feel extra sensitive about it because I was what you would call a jazz musician. I played the trumpet and like I was into a lot of jazz artists, traditional jazz artists. But when you say jazz to like most, like if you say jazz like to somebody, there's a high chance that they're not going to know what you're talking about.
Right.
They're going to think of what jazz is to them. So you could be talking to like somebody and like the only association with jazz that they have is Kenny G, and that's not the kind of jazz I'm talking about. Or I could say, yeah, I'm a jazz artist, I play the trumpet, and they could associate that with um uh um God, I'm going blank. This always happens to me. And
It's totally fine. I
with
myself will have problems remembering song artists because once you I think the songs that you turn on and pay attention to and kind of listen to, you kind of remember the names, and sometimes artists, you will have trouble for, remembering.
Right, and it's just like my mind just it pulls from all kind of different arenas all the time. So what I was gonna say is, I could say that I play the jazz trumpet, and people are gonna think, oh, so you play like Louis Armstrong. That's cool, and that's not what I'm talking about. Or I could say a jazz trumpet, and they could be thinking about some jazz artist that's from Bulgaria or something. I don't know. Like jazz is such a word that encompasses so many different sounds. Like the soundscape of what jazz is just like so diverse. So when I say that, oh, like I'm a jazz artist, or oh, I really listen to country music or something like that, it doesn't say much. It's like it doesn't say much to me, and
Right.
it doesn't define exactly what I listen to or what I play or the kind of music that I like, or it's not enough. So I have to, instead of saying that I play jazz, like I'd rather say, yeah, I play music. I play trumpet. Like I'm not gonna tell you what style of music I play because I've tracked for pop artists. I've played trumpet on a pop artist album.
Yeah, it's very, you have very diverse, track record.
And a really a term that pops up frequently is being pigeonholed. People put you into that category
Pigeonhole.
of, yeah, it basically means that like you're associated for a specific act,
Ah,
but like when you try to do something else, they're like, that's not your arena. So basically, like when Michael Jordan was like, I'm gonna retire, and then he was like, I'm gonna try my hand at baseball.
that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, it's that, and everybody's like, no, stick to basketball. Even if he could have been good, even if he was given like the same kind of like, oh yeah, that guy's gonna be something. But like
Right,
immediately, if you're not like what they envision you to be at what you say that you want to be, they're gonna they're gonna say, okay, so you're not good at that, but you're good at this, so do that.
right. And now I don't know his full story. Now, did he quit baseball and then go back to basketball, or what happened?
I think so. I'm not really that into sports, to be honest.
Yeah, not neither am I. That's why I had to ask.
Yeah, I believe he did go back to basketball for some time. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
I don't know MJ's true the history of MJ or anything like that. But
Oh,
yeah.
that actually reminds me of the time I I faked being a sports fan to talk to a boss. So what happened was, I was talking to a boss of a computer company. He owns a computer company here in San Francisco, and he was looking for someone to hire for a project. And we were talking, and he said, "Oh, Ben, are you into did, did you watch a game? Are you into any sports teams?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I watched the Lakers. Yeah, I know about the Lakers." And he said, "Oh, the Lakers. Oh well, uh, i- isn't that from LA, or I'm more into the Warriors." So I got it mixed up. So basically, what happened was I thought the team that plays for SF was the Lakers, and no, it's in fact they play for LA, and LA's sports team was the Warriors, right? Or no, I shouldn't be asking you because you're not into that stuff. But yes, the Warriors with
the
Steph Curry is. So that I had that moment, and then I had to explain to him, yeah, I dead ass was just trying to the conversation. I'm not a sports fan. I'm sorry.
No, that's yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I got mixed up.
Wow, Ben, you don't know, you didn't know that the Lakers are in LA?
I So here's what happened. The Lakers was in the news for something, and the Lakers is what I was more exposed to. I see that the name pop up maybe on Reddit or on the news somewhere, and that's the only team I recognize. And yeah, so I thought that was the team, my city, that was my city's team. So yeah, that was the explanation.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
What I was saying a while ago was that my the last two albums that I bought, I remember, were that John Mayer, Born and Raised. And that's
Right.
I actually had that's around the time that I went to his concert when he came to San Diego, and I was like, "Yo, this is lit." I think that was one of my first like big artist concerts that I went to, and it was just like, man, I just get chills thinking about it. It was like on the lawn. It was a great experience. I went with some friends, and the other album I bought was a Justin Timberlake album, and it was
Right.
the 2020 Experience, and there's that album is good, but there's some like there are some sleeper tracks on there, like some very creative tracks that just are there's nothing like these tracks that I've ever heard. Um, and yeah, so there's a lot of music out there that I really enjoy, and that like I feel it in like a lot of different I feel a lot of different aspects of the music. Like I try not to anymore because I'm not actively gigging. I'm not going out and playing for anybody like that because my principles
Right.
are different now. Like I have different mindset towards it. You know, I still aspire to be a musician, but I want to do it on my own terms. I don't want to. I have a lot of principles now
Oh,
that
yes, yes. And
um
I actually prefer that way. You want to do it at your own terms, at your own pace, and you want to do it how you want to do it, not like not conform to. You want to be your own journey. You want to have it as your own journey.
exactly, exactly. And the only way to do that is I feel like just being financially stable. Like that's the only real way to do it. Like unless you were given financial stability, just but I don't think really even that. I feel like you've got to like learn you've got to have a foot in the door as far as your financial stability, or you've got to get picked up as a child artist like Justin Bieber or something. But
Damn,
uh
Grroovie, you're sounding very responsible right now. I've never seen this side of you.
no, I mean, I've like everybody wants to. You have like you aspire to do certain things, so like you've got to put some time aside. You've got to really learn what you want and
Right.
in life, and that's for everything, in my opinion. But then again, like let's not go too deep into that, into my opinions
Yeah.
and whatnot, because obviously I don't really know anything. Don't take everything with a grain of salt. Take our grain of thought podcast with
Great,
a
you
grain
know,
of
thought
salt, because
podcast. Yes.
we're just talking. We're just
Yeah.
chopping it up. Um,
And I'm so scared. Just like so, we based our podcast name off the expression "grain of salt." So, and before the podcast, I was telling Groovy, "Oh, I hope I don't just make a mistake and say our podcast name is "grain of salt" because it that's the expression. That's what we use in our daily lives. And yeah, I think we're doing pretty good so far.
yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, dude. We're just chopping it up. Lots of thoughts put out there. I hope it wasn't uh too tangential. If
Tangent.
that's
Oh,
if we
yes,
didn't
yes.
break off too much from what we were trying to say, because we're not really trying to say anything. We're just talking.
Yeah, I was
Um,
just trying to shoot it. But oh yeah, so one question I have for you is I Groovy, I know you stream, but have you ever done like a radio talk show, or you were you invited to a show or just an interview that was broadcasted somewhere else?
what's funny is I actually so here's another bit of information for me, of my
Yes.
history. So I had been going to community college, and I was only taking music classes. I didn't take any general education classes. I was just enrolled in
Right.
music classes, so performance ensembles, performance studies, music theory, piano class, voice training. I was doing all this.
Yes.
None of the classes you got to take for under div or whatever. But I was doing that for about 2 years after I
Right.
graduated high school, and I was just trying to figure it out. Obviously, things weren't working out for me, But the okay, I'm gonna need you to repeat the question one more time because
Oh yes, I just wanted to know if you were invited to like another talk show setting, like that was broadcasted, or maybe it was recorded and put on some type of media type of website or on TV.
okay, so here we go. Um, music. I was a music major. I ended up
Yes.
transferring to Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas. And
Ooh,
when
that's pretty far.
it yeah, it's Texas, man. Back to Texas. Everybody moves out to Texas, but some people come back. And when I went out to Texas, before I was taking piano lessons from well, I was taking trumpet lessons with a local trumpet player. He's actually a Grammy nominated or a Grammy winning trumpet player.
Oh wow.
But I was taking trumpet lessons with him. I went and sat in on a gig with him, and his pianist is a professor at University of California, San Diego. And
Right.
he offered to give me piano lessons. So I was like, sweet. So I met him at his house. Very feng shui. He's like very nice. He's got a very nice house and wife. He's living the life as a professor of music, and
Oh
he was like showing me piano. It's a very inspiring guy, and he gave me one of his. He recently put an album out, and on his album he had a flautist named Hubert Laws,
a what? A whatist?
a flautist. So he played the flute.
Oh, okay,
That's what you
okay.
call
I Yeah, I
flautist.
didn't know they were called that.
Yes. So Hubert Laws just so happened to be an assisting or like a guest professor at Texas Southern. So I had reached out to him, and apparently he worked at the radio station on campus, but he never reached out to me. He never got back to me. I never stepped foot inside of
What?
the radio
Of
building.
the
But I was always like my dorm was literally right next to the radio building, but I never went in. I never joined or anything like that. I was only at Texas Southern for a semester. It didn't really work out before I came back. So
I
yeah,
see.
that was as close as I got to radio. Recently, my last quarter, winter quarter, I was talking with a peer, not a colleague, but a peer, I guess you would call her. We were in a
Right.
group project in statistics, and she was like, she had brought it on to me. She was like, she was telling me that I should do a podcast, and I was like, yeah, if we do a podcast, we're gonna be doing a podcast together, and like our first episode is gonna be about the effects on caffeine because we were all cracked out at the time. So that's the only experience I have in radio or podcasting world. Obviously, you know that I did stream pretty often. I don't do it anymore, but I think I'm gonna start picking it back up now that
Oh, for sure.
we've got this going
Well,
on.
wait. So, from what I'm hearing, I'm not the first person you talk to about starting a podcast, Groovy. Now, who is this other person that you're cheating on me with?
Oh, well, it never really came into fruition. So, um, I mean, um,
So, yeah, no, but that sounds very interesting that you guys want to talk about caffeine. But if you're still in contact with them, I'm pretty sure we can still make it happen.
yeah, we can have him come on the Grain of Thought podcast. I think that'd be great.
Definitely. And caffeine, yes, I'm very interested in learning more about caffeine because it affects me in a special way.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, we can. I have a video actually because um, I started vlogging for a bit, and
Right?
one of my vlog, well, it's not even a vlog really. It's just a video that I have on YouTube, and um, it's about lack of sleep. It's about caffeine. It is about what not getting enough sleep does to your body. It's actually one of my like I love watching the video. It's I had so much fun making and doing the video. I should do more videos in that style.
Yeah.
and it's basically me sitting down in front of a computer with my camera on, for like 80% of the video. I think I gave a shout out to Jelly's vibes.moe business, which if anybody is listening and they are interested in getting some sticker slaps that you can slap to your stickers and slap them on your wife and your kids and slap them on your car, slap them everywhere. Get slap happy. That's my promotion to vibes.moe. But
Yes, and by the way, she did not pay us to do this sponsorship. We're doing this out of our. She is a very good friend of ours, and we're doing this out of our heart. We're doing this out of the kindness of our hearts.
exactly. And I always say that I do not. Well, it's not that I don't support friends' businesses. It's just I'm not going to give you a free shout out if I don't truly believe in your business that it
Yes,
is like
exactly.
super dope. I personally bought I've been given stickers, of course, but I have purchased plenty stickers from her online shop, and they are all of the utmost quality and they're all beautiful. So if anybody is interested, link will probably be in the description of this of the podcast wherever you're watching
Yep.
or listening.
Yes.
So please check out. But back to what I was saying in the video,
Yes.
80% of it was me sitting in front of a computer. Um, and other parts are like creative, and then I gave Jelly a shout out as well. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do more videos like that. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it to you. But
Oh, definitely. I'll definitely check it out right after our podcast.
I appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this thing, whatever it is. But
Definitely.
I'm gonna be the next PewDiePie is the go. Or maybe I can be Markiplier, you'll be PewDiePie. So since you are a big fan of the Pewds, and when I started streaming and
Definitely.
getting a really big following, it was from playing the Five Nights at Freddy's games. There's a huge following on there, and like
Ooh, that one was very popular when it came out. Very popular.
I was really scared at first playing the games, but I really actually enjoy them now.
Yeah,
So
like the game has such a simple design, but it's very effective on how it scares you. I really thought it was very interesting how they made that happen like that.
right, I agree. Um, yeah. So I mean, that's where we're at right now. I think everything is going really smoothly. I think it's only going to go up from here, and I'm really looking forward to bringing take having this Grain of Thought podcast take off with you, Ben. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, yes, I'm really looking forward to. I'm very excited to see where this takes us. I'm always excited about the journey.
Me too. Well, I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to go into detail about. Maybe we can save it for the next episode. But we should be having more. We should have more of a concrete schedule, maybe in the future, about how frequent we're gonna be doing this. So many different options. If you have any suggestions, please let us know. If you'd like to see
Definitely.
our beautiful faces, then we could think about that as well. Um, and yeah, if you're thinking about maybe live, I think we were thinking about possibly live, but you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about all of our options, and we're just gonna go from there. So I just wanted to close and saying thank you so much if you've made it this far,
Thank you for tuning in.
and we will catch you next time on episode 2 of the Grain of Thought podcast.
All right.